All right, we're live. Episode 14. This week we have Cat from Case. Hi, Cat.
Hi guys.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So, what is CASE?
So CASE is a circular service for takeout containers, revolutionizing waste in the food service industry.
Wow,
So,
That's our one-liner.
I love it.
so what kind of problem are you trying to solve?
So we're trying to solve the problem of takeout container waste. More specifically, the popularized black and white plastic takeout containers that a lot of restaurants still use here in Toronto, Canada.
Cool. What are people doing to kind of so people are generally aware of this plastic problem? Like, what are people doing today for that?
So in Toronto, the city doesn't actually recycle black plastic because it can't determine, like the monitor can't find the difference between the black plastic containers and the black conveyor belt. So they all just go to garbage. So people who know that, they're actually just holding on to these containers because they feel really guilty about sending them to landfills, and they're just reusing them at home.
Do they really are they really reusable? You mean like they're made of styrofoam, right?
They're made of, I don't have any here. They're made of number 5 polypropylene. So they are reusable and they're dishwasher safe, they're microwavable, and they're freezer safe. So yeah, we're just commercializing that.
Cool.
So if there's already like reusing the container, then then what kind of value does Case is providing to the customers?
So people don't enjoy having these containers in their households. The people that we talk to are our early product evangelicalists. They have about 20 containers at home. The average person or household is ordering about 2.5 times per week, and they get about 3 to 4 containers per order. So as you can tell, someone who's holding on to these, they accumulate very quickly. And then what they're doing is finally letting them go or trying to donate them to food shelters, which are kind of backed up in terms of how much plastic they have being given to them. So what we do is we help relieve them of that pain, and we give them an alternative route to send their takeout containers without feeling guilty about how much they consume of them.
Oh, interesting.
That's awesome.
What's like the origin story? Like, what was the motivation to build this?
So the origin story was me carrying around a takeout container that I got from takeout and bringing it back to restaurants myself. In the early days, this was before COVID, when cafeterias were bumping, and then I just started doing it for my colleagues as well. When they would get containers, I was saving them at the office. I was just trying to do whatever I could not to create more waste. And then I started to think, how could I scale this for other people? What we're doing now is kind of far from the original idea, because I ran with that and tried to, introduce a higher quality takeout container in the market, which wasn't what people were looking for. They weren't looking to be, there are a few looking to be proactive, but more importantly, I found I could help the people who are reactive in that they want to order takeout how they order takeout, but they just don't want to have waste.
Interesting. So people that want to just be, very lazy, like just order takeout from your phone, and they just don't want to have the guilt of having all these plastic containers pile up.
Exactly. So instead of CASE being part of the ordering process, we're now part of the afterwards process, almost like a privatized waste management, but reusing scheme. And then restaurants, because of the low margins in their business, we sell them these containers back to them for a little less than what they currently pay for their net new containers.
Oh, interesting. So you change your model a little bit.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
The what did they say? The path of least resistance is what I'm now going.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit. Like, how is that evolution kind of played out? Like, where did you start and how did you get to this point?
So I started thinking that I had to, create a brand and capitalize on the evangelicalists, which were like myself, which wanted to see a reuse scheme out there, making a difference, and being sort of like a pillar in the community that people could get behind. But I realized it's less about building that brand and more about building a solution that people actually want. So instead of we were originally going to sell these higher quality takeout containers to restaurants on a per transaction basis, and then people would check them out through a mobile app. And the app was really for us more than for the consumer, because we need the app to ensure that we weren't losing these high quality containers, because they were costing a lot more than, you know, the containers we ended up using. And we couldn't have them leaving the scheme, but we didn't want to charge a penalty or a deposit model, because we do want this eventually to scale. And people would come to us and they'd be like, yeah, I don't really understand what I'm paying for here. I think your app's really cool. I think what you're doing is really cool, but you know, why am I paying for this? And I get it. I get why they're asking. They're saying, why am I paying for something that I would otherwise get for free, when my problem I have with it is not that the container's crap, it's that the container, you know, someone else hasn't developed a better scheme for where I send this container.
That's really interesting. So you switch from like ordering the food and then it comes with a container and then a customer has to pay for a fee, to this new model, which is like if restaurant has like delivered their food and then they have containers, so you collect them and you sell them back to the restaurant for a lower fee. So like, how's this business model going for you?
It's going better than expected. I actually stumbled on this business model because I was trying to get collection bins out for my reused, like my higher quality containers, and no grocery stores would let me put a collection bin in there. So I was like, oh, well, you know, I'll collect black plastic too. Like it will be all takeout containers. And I thought I'd just get 1 or 2 black plastics and I could send them to a recycler. But it honestly blew up. No one cared about the app, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, I can finally put my container somewhere. And I had people, you know, reaching out saying they'd like driven half an hour with 25 containers just to come to this one bin. Editor reached out to us from a local, you know, media site and wrote this article on our collection bins. People shared it on Instagram. It's been about this is our 4th week of operations of this pilot, and we've collected over 7,000 containers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Crazy. So you take just any container, like any takeout container?
Yeah, round or rectangle, white or black, clear, like we take it all.
And then you'll just clean it and then do some quality control on it and then resell it?
Yeah, so we tell people that we only accept clean containers, and so far people have been respecting that, and we've only been getting clean containers, and that's just so it's easier from a health and safety perspective, and I can like put them in my car and it doesn't smell and stuff. And then once I get them, I sort them. The ones I can reuse, then I send them off to sanitization. The ones that are, you know, because there's so many brands out there and I have to give restaurants a stock of like one brand, one size. Mm-hmm. There are some that just aren't worth holding on to until I get more of them. And those I send to a recycler.
Okay.
And so how much is the restaurant today that paying you for each container?
They pay between 20 and 27 cents, depending on the size of the container.
Ah, I see. And how much do they buy if it's new?
They will buy about 100 or at a time. And that's pretty decent. I can't really offer them more than 100 at a time, just because I need to be able to stockpile enough to get to that amount and then send them out.
And what if the container comes, like you say, the container comes in different sizes? So like, does it matter for the restaurant? Like, do they want something that's like more organized or the same size and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's what they want. So I can't give them, even though I might have 6 different brands of 32-ounce rectangular container, I can't just, you know, plop that on them, because then that also is 6 different lids. And in the back end, what they want is something easier, not something that's going to be, you know, more of a shuffle when they're trying to streamline their operations. So what I do is, you know, offer it a bit cheaper and offer it easy by just giving them all the same brand and the same size.
I love how elegant this solution
is
because
awesome.
It totally fits into the existing model. It's not like trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just kind of like, oh, you already are buying these, just buy them from me and your conscience is clear, kind of.
Yeah. It's like, keep it simple, stupid. Like,
yeah, right.
I was trying to go way harder. I thought I had to do way more, but yeah, this is what people wanted.
I love it.
This is great. Like because we talked earlier before about how we had an idea with returnable bags and it didn't really work out with the grocery stores. And a similar idea that people can rent a bag from the store and then return it. And we have went through all the trouble that you probably have went through. You have to change the people's behavior in the store, and then like have a bin that's set up somewhere that people can return it. And yeah, I really like your new solution. This is really cool. I think that might be the answer. I'm not even sure yet.
Yeah. So how do you see this growing? Like, what are your next steps? Like,
So right now we're in grocery stores, and we've just started piloting on private property in condo and apartment buildings. So that's where I really see this scaling. I see, these collection bins in, condos and apartment buildings all around Toronto. In Ontario, we have a deposit return model for our beer bottles, and it's very popular with an 82% return rate. I see that as, CASE being that for takeout containers, but without a deposit model in place. So it's just people from the goodness of their heart, caring about what's going on, cleaning their containers and dropping them into our bins.
cool.
That's awesome.
You said you weren't using the app, but we still wanted to give like a demo just to kind of look at it. Maybe you can just talk about it and just kind of explain. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, explain how it works.
Yeah, explain what was this and like kind of, I don't know, just off the top of your head.
Sure. And like maybe if anybody's listening, it will help them with their app or anything. So this is the like home screen. What happens is when you sign up, it prompts you through a small walkthrough, which I learned that like a lot of people didn't really understand it was a walkthrough. So they would just skip through it and then create an account, get to this screen and not know what to do. So I haven't figured out how to solve that problem, but that was just a problem. And then also we decided to make the app free to browse. So all of these features, like looking at your account, looking at the restaurants, looking at drop sites, things like that, it would all be free. So then the person could see the value and then decide if they want to, purchase a subscription to use the reusable container. I think people, like when you click on this, it tells you how to order in CASE. So I didn't go through the process of becoming a payment terminal where people could purchase meals in CASE containers through our app. Instead, I was like, we'll just show people how to do it. So people would download our app, see this, read this, and then go to the restaurant and order the container without paying for the app. Because in the first 2 days after we launched this app, one of our restaurants like blew through 65 containers. I was like, well, like how did that happen? And that was the feedback that I got, that people like either forgot that they were supposed to pay or thought that they would pay just if they wanted to scan. So when I press scan, it says limited capabilities, like you need to upgrade. And that's where my value is. I realized like the whole reason I wanted the scanning was for my data points, like to understand like, did Queenie and Ian like take out 2 containers? Did they take out 3 containers? Where did they take from? At what time? Things like that. That's the data I get when you scan. But you don't really care that much about that. Like other people, people just want their food, right? And they don't want to do harm to the environment. So I was actually asking people to pay to help me. So yeah, there's a couple things there. And then in our about section, this ended up being the most popular section. But then I messed up like the counting thing a bit. So it's got lagged back. And then people click on this and are like, only 4 containers. So, and then this ended up being the screen that most people wanted to see because it explained your carbon savings. But they also never found it because we tucked it away in the about section. So yeah, it was really fun. I still think there's purpose to this app. We're still gonna keep pushing it, and I think it's gonna be better after COVID. But those are the key takeaways that I learned.
Interesting.
This is really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you've kind of like iterated to more like of a low tech model, really. Like you've gone really low tech and just kind of listened to your users and iterated that way. And then maybe in the future, like the app kind of has new life. Like, I don't know. It looks great.
Yeah, I think my designer did a fantastic job. All the tech is really great. I definitely believe there's a purpose for it. But you're right. Like you kind of have to get out of your own way as a founder and just listen to people. and talk to people too.
Right. Cool. So here's where we go. Let's do some, like, we kind of stole this from the startup school. What are your goals and obstacles for this week?
My obstacles for this week are I am in the process of negotiating a rate for recycling the black plastic. So that's sort of, I guess you could call that an obstacle. It's a bit of back and forth, right? And as a founder, like, you need to stand your ground and like negotiate for what you think you're worth and do your research on, what the market is willing to pay for things. So that's what I'm going through right now. And then, sorry, what was the other part? Obstacles and
goals and obstacles just this week. Goals and
then the goals are I want to roll out 2 more private condo collection bins next week.
Great.
Nice.
You could read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Literally. You had like book referrals in the thing you sent me, and I was like, oh my gosh, every founder I talk to is like, read Never Split the Difference.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is so good. Like, he got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So our goals and obstacles, we've been working on popping.live, and we got 7 customers. I don't know if we talked since maybe when we talked last, we were like kind of not launched yet, but we have 7 customers now.
You had 2. Okay, wow.
Right, 2. Yeah, now we have 7 subscribers. And so our goal is to get, this week, we're doing our product meeting today, and just to get 3 more, so we have 10. And we want to have 100 users visiting the website every week, and we want to have at least 10 pop-ups, which a pop-up meaning that like one of our customers just goes live and they pop up on our map. Because we've been finding that even with our customers, not everyone has been popping up every day or regularly. So we're trying to figure out and build tools to help with that.
So popping.live is basically like a website that you can help you find pop-ups like food trucks or mobile business. So right now we have about 7 food trucks. I guess all of them are food at this moment. And one of them is a mobile market. And like they pop up sometimes. So
we're trying to get people to have more of a habit of popping up too. So 3 new customers.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the feedback you're getting and like the value they find when they pop up?
The feedback has been, well, a lot of them are owners and they're really busy. And so they might be like, oh, I'm busy, I'm not there. And I don't have time to just pop up every day because they manage a lot of different social media. And so we're building a feature for that so that they can have a team and they can invite all the people that work with them. So they can kind of be like, okay, I'm the owner, but I have my teammates at the truck that are managing this for me.
Actually, I think your question is asking what kind of value we provide for the customers that are popping up every day, right? That's your question.
My understanding is when people say they don't have time for something, it's because they're not prioritizing it because they don't see as much return on investment. So like for people who do prioritize it, see the return on investment, what's like the return they're getting? They get more customers?
Yeah, so the idea is that because mobile business, like they go here today or go the other places tomorrow. So they are not like consistent in one spot. So the idea is that if they pop up more, so people will be able to find them through the map. And we have talked to our users and some of them say that they have people literally call them every day and be like, hey, where are you? I want to get your taco. And they can't find out because it's impossible. And also there's like really strict laws about where a food truck can park in the city or any of the mobile business. So like they first of all, they need to find a place to park for the day. And then second, they have to tell their customer about where they're at. And that just create like a lot of troubles. And the more they pop up, like because they all like private events and business. So we think that if a person never try your food, you would never wanted to book them. So our persuasion line is that like, hey, if you pop up more, people get to try your food and there's more opportunity for you to be able to get private events and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for me as a like, how would I see where somebody pops up? Like, do I have to visit their website, or where does the pop in live like come?
Oh, you can just go to popping.live. So popping.live is the site that where it shows a list of the people who are live and like or last seen if they were live before.
Yeah, so we have a map and
Okay.
like and a feed.
So you need sort of like consumers to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like a chicken and egg
now.
problem. Yeah, it's a chicken and egg problem a little bit.
So the more people check pop in live, then like the more food trucks will have an audience to like cater to.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand this now. Yeah, that is a tricky one. It's like a marketplace, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
I don't know if we're a market.
Kinda is a
marketplace. Yeah, kind of is a marketplace.
Because I feel like for a long time, like those businesses are kind of ignored by the markets because they don't have a fixed location, and the city just put like a bunch of laws on them, and they can't operate like within a certain range of other like restaurants or markets. And I feel like not really something out there for them. So I think that this is something that we can at least know where they're at and try them out, you know, like because actually they got amazing food. Like that's what we've been eating a lot of like food truck food.
Yeah, it's all local stuff.
I feel like you guys really solve a problem. It's just like getting enough consumers on it that like when an owner goes live, they get that influx and they know it's from Pop-In, and then they tell their other friends, because that's what happens in the restaurant industry, and I'm sure it's the same in the food truck industry. Everyone talks, right?
It's so funny. It's so true.
Yeah, it's true.
And like if I was like in Toronto, because of COVID, there's been a lot of pop-up like backdoor restaurants or somebody making ice cream out of their house and selling it on Instagram. So they're not moving around, like the location stays the same, and it's just like you DM to order through Instagram or something, and like you pre-order the week before, like very scrappy stuff that I really admire. And when I find one of those, I send it to my friend. It'll have like 200 followers. I'll be like, look, like Mikey's ice cream, like we've got to go try it. Cause it's like, sometimes it's like entrepreneurs who are like the best at their craft, but they just don't have the resources to build a brick and mortar store. So they've gone about it from this way. And so if somebody finds like a good food truck on Pop-In, they're going to send it to their friends. And then it's going to just ricochet from that too. Right. So I feel like you guys just need that, like that, you know, when it's like you do something long enough that just like breaks through.
Right. We're hoping.
Yeah.
I think we're both Case and Popping is just like right on the precipice.
Yeah, we're really similar. We like surfing almost like the same customers as well.
I feel like our paths like intertwine. Yeah, because like last time we talked, we like related so much.
I love it. Yeah. So cool. So I think your recommendation, Mike, I think we already have the same recommendation as never split the difference.
So do you have another recommendations?
Yeah, it's called Permission to Screw Up by Kristen Hadid. It's really good. She started a cleaning business out of university. And I think she talks more about like emotional things because she's an emotional leader and decision maker. But it's really great for people who want to build a business because they want to like gainfully employ people.
Uh-oh, is that us or Cat?
I have no idea. Maybe she freeze. Can you hear us?
I think we're still live.
Okay, let's talk about our recommendation then. Like, so what's your recommendations?
Ooh, my recommendation. I think Greyhound on Apple TV. It's great. Oh yeah, we definitely lost Cat. I don't know. I watched Greyhound on Apple TV with Tom Hanks. It was really good, really interesting, and it's really fun to see like old school technology. So yeah, maybe she lost her. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Cat. Cat lost. Try to.
Do we talk about Selfish Gene as the book recommendation? Because I feel like that's also a really excellent book. Basically, in Selfish Gene, they talk about how every system, there's a lot of different sections of the topic, but one of them is that they talk about a system that's designed and how it should be. Like for example, there's if you have a type of birds in there, like they have there's this type of bird, they would just steal someone's nest, and instead of making their own nest, they will like drop an egg into someone else's nest, and then after the eggs like hatch and the birds comes out, and they will start like crying for food just like all the other birds. But then at first some of the birds will get full, and they start raising kids that are not their birds. But then this birds was like eventually evolve and to be able to recognize the eggs that's not part of their eggs. But because evolution works, and the other type of bird will also evolve to have eggs that look more similar to other type of birds' eggs.
Sneaky,
so it's like really
sneaky.
interesting. It's how I talk about that's part of the selfish gene, like because in the nature world, people wanted to like as much as they could to expand their species as long as they can, and it's same rule apply to human as well. So there's a lot of like talks about that. It's really interesting. So I would recommend Selfish Gene. I guess we lost her, and
she said she's gonna try to join again.
Okay.
She's gonna try to join really quick. But what else can we do? We could talk more about our goals. So I think our goals this week is to get 3 more customers, get 100 users using the site every week, and to have at least 10 pop-ups.
Yeah.
Of other besides just us. And I think to get there, I think we want to finish up the team. We're working on a feature to help us get teams so that you can, if you're subscribed, you can have like a team, like your truck can be a team, and you can have everyone that works on your truck, all of them can work together to go live. And then what other stuff? I think we want to add images of like every one of our customers'
Right.
top 3 things. So if you're like, we just signed up.
Instead of call it top 3, we call it like most order,
Right.
or most favorites. And then the second one is chef special, and the third one is a secret item from the truck. And the idea is that we want to introduce in this like check-in system so that people can check in the app, and after a certain times of check-in, then they can unlock the secret items. And every truck has their own secret items, so it would be really interesting.
Yeah, so like having like your top things, having more images, because I think what's also cool is like every one of these little pop-ups has like a story, and they're all these really unique, cool, interesting stories.
Right.
And so we want to just really share those, and so people can learn more about these people that are starting these businesses.
Yeah.
Like as Kat said, like they're super scrappy local people starting these little pop-ups, especially now. And I just want to just share those with more people so they can get more people to see them.
Last week we signed Israel, who's like
The taco truck.
he owns a taco truck, and it's really interesting. He got a nice logo. And then we signed Chicago Honey Truck. We're based in Chicago, and Chicago Honey Truck is also really interesting. Their honey is really good.
We got Kat.
Yeah.
Hey
She's
guys,
back.
sorry about that.
All right, there.
Hey.
Never happened before.
We'll edit it. It'll be fine. But let's
Okay.
go back. Your recommendation. So your recommendation was for, what's it? It's okay to screw up, or I forget.
Permission to
Yes.
screw up.
Permission to screw up.
Mhm.
You're still
Oh,
there.
no.
We can still hear you.
Oh my gosh.
No, you can still talk.
Maybe I should move locations.
Your sound is fine. You just keep talking. Your sound's totally good. I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
you're fine.
My screen is back on my end.
Okay, yeah, you're good. So permission to screw up. It sounds interesting. I think that's like a lot
Is
of people
that
are
a way-
afraid
Yeah.
to like mess up, because like I think whatever your first company you do is going to be shitty. So permission to screw
Yeah.
up is important.
Yeah. And I think that's the worst part, right? Because like when you get a company and like you get some traction, you're like, I can't lose this. Like, this is my everything. So like every screw up or like everything that could be a screw up stops you from trying new things because you just don't want to lose it, right?
Yeah, I think we were kind of the same way. Like, it's like you have to think it's like thinking your child's ugly. It's like, okay, I know my child's ugly, or I have to kill my child and have another one. It's hard.
Yeah, you still gotta have another child if you really want to have another child.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my baby's ugly.
I'm so glad that you changed your business model, because according to what we have learned from the grocery store, we just know that this returnable idea was horrible. Even though it means that it's great for the environment, it means well, but it didn't
Or the
really
deposit
work.
return. Like
Yeah,
the
the deposit
doesn't
return.
work.
But
Yeah.
like the way that you're doing it is similar to how Goodwill is doing it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's a super elegant solution.
Yeah.
Super simple and
Thanks,
elegant.
guys.
Yeah. My recommendation was Greyhound on Apple TV, but whatever. That's a good movie.
What, Greyhound? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's with
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. He's the best.
Okay, I'll write that down.
Everything Tom Hanks is great. So cool. How can people find you?
They can find us on Instagram at Case Reuse and Facebook. And yeah, we mainly answer through that. If you want to email me, it's Catherine@casereuse.ca. And I
Awesome.
try to answer within 2 business days.
Perfect. I'll make
Nice.
sure to add it to the description.
Yeah.
But awesome. So Case, you're in Toronto, but you're coming for the rest of the world, I think.
Hopefully,
Please
yes.
do. Please do. And also solve the plastic bags problem as well.
Yeah, maybe that's your next one. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, I'll
but-
just throw that in while I'm at it.
All right, sounds good. All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you
Thanks for
later.
having me.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.